Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and when it comes to the data mines of Animal Crossing New Horizons, we know about all the big stuff that was data mined, like the cafe and Brewster and gyroids, but there's actually a lot of other really fascinating features that were data mined either this year or last year, and I thought it'd be fun to bring attention to some of these cool things that a lot of players honestly don't seem to know about. There are some really interesting hidden things that I think people would love to learn about, so I thought I'd do a video going over some of my favorite ones. So let's get into this. Before we do, I just wanted to quickly mention that I currently have channel memberships open and I've introduced a new tier, which is currently my cheapest tier ever. By joining, you get access to our members only Discord, you get exclusive badges by your name, and you also get some exclusive emojis to use as well. So if you want to help support the channel even further, consider becoming a channel member. It really does help me out a lot. Number 1. So to start us off in this list, who here likes home customization? Because even though we don't have that many items to use indoors in Animal Crossing New Horizons, I really do like how they've improved the interface in this game from previous games, and that was heavily inspired by Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, which was a spin-off game for the series. Now this game introduced so much in the way of home customization, and one really cool thing that it actually introduced was ceiling items, which was definitely a popular feature in that game. So instead of just having wall items, you could also have some really cool items hanging from your ceiling, like chandeliers, lanterns, you name it. There were honestly so many. This game had a huge variety of different items. Well, interestingly enough, ceiling items were actually data mined by Ninja, a prominent Animal Crossing New Horizons data miner, last year. Now, this is fascinating because we've yet to actually see these, like a lot of other data mined things, and of course there's no guarantee that they'll ever make it to the game, but it does seem pretty clear here that this is referring to potential ceiling items. I mean, I can't imagine what else that would mean, though it is worth noting that data mines do often get misinterpreted, and they could totally be something different. However, I definitely think the connection is there, that these could be ceiling items returning from Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. We've seen them introduce a lot of new types of tools in the recent years, so it would be interesting if they did come out with some ceiling items as well and bring us a new type of item finally to get. I think this would allow for a lot more customization within players' houses. I definitely think it'd be a popular returning feature, and for those who didn't play Happy Home Designer, which is honestly probably quite a lot of people, I think it'd be great for them to see some of these really amazing features that Happy Home Designer had. There's a lot more that they could bring back as well, like for example, you could have ambience in your homes, you could have like seaside sounds playing or birds tweeting, you name it. There's so many cool features in Happy Home Designer, and I hope more of them do come to Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 2. Now, we all love bushes, and it was really great when they actually returned to Animal Crossing New Horizons in the April 2020 update, and believe it or not, these were actually data mined as well. Well, something else was interestingly data mined by Ninja, and that's that there was another type of bush that we haven't yet seen in the game. Now, this was the Plumeria Bush, which would be another new type of bush introduced in Animal Crossing New Horizons, just like the sweet tea bushes as well. I really would love to see this. In fact, Plumeria flowers were a thing in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I've never seen Plumeria bushes personally, but I definitely think this would be a good one to see, and hopefully it could be something that we see at some point in the future. However, this one has been in the game's code for quite a while, and nothing has really been done with it, so maybe it's just something they scrapped. Maybe they thought they were going to add it originally, but decided against it because they felt like there were already enough bushes. I think it'd be kind of random if they did come out with a new bush, especially given the current bushes are all set up to kind of fill in every blank in terms of the seasons. So I'm not certain this will ever come to the game, but I definitely do think it would be a cool addition to see. I mean, I love bushes in Animal Crossing. I think they're such a great way to customize and decorate your islands. I love the greenery that they kind of provide, and I have so many around my island. But in terms of this Plumeria bush, it does seem like it may just be a relic that Nintendo probably won't introduce in this version. But we'll have to see. It would be great if they did. I'd love to have new things to buy from Leaf, and I'd never say no to more shrubbery. Number 3. So another thing that was data mined by Ninja that's incredibly interesting is sewing and cooking DIYs. Now, there were actually quite a few references to these in the game's code, leading people to believe that we'd see a big cooking update, and as of me making this video, we still haven't. Now, these references, as you can see Ninja saying, were actually hidden, and I don't know if they've ever come back. I don't believe so, but it's certainly interesting that they were there to begin with. We already have a lot of different things that you can craft in the game, like tools, fences, and more, but it'd be really interesting if they introduced sewing DIYs and also cooking DIYs as well. This would definitely add a new dynamic. I imagine it would work the exact same as you craft other stuff. You just use the materials like food and then sort of sewing materials to craft these items. But it would definitely add a really nice new dynamic for crafting in this game, which is obviously a new feature. I definitely could see Nintendo coming forward with this. I do think they will continue to introduce more DIY recipes to the game. It's something they haven't really done in a few months, so maybe if we saw a more sizable update, we could actually see some more DIY recipes come, but who knows if it would actually include cooking and of course clothing DIY recipes as well. You can already kind of craft clothing in the game, but it's not really much of a thing, at least not as much as it could be. Clothing DIYs, or well I guess just clothing crafting, is a big thing in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. There's a lot of different clothes that you can actually craft, so I think it would be nice if they took some inspiration from there and maybe gave us some sets of clothes that you can only get through crafting. It would just be a nice way to get some new items, and I love collecting DIY recipes, so this would be great in my eyes. Number 4. This one is also incredibly interesting to me, and this one actually was discovered quite recently. I believe it was in the 1.10 update. I'm not sure if the references have been hidden yet, but Stoney discovered on the Animal Crossing New Horizons Discord server that there were some sort of pieces of code that could indicate we might be seeing fence customization at some point in the future. Now, once again, this isn't guaranteed that this is exactly what it will mean. These could just be placeholders for Nintendo for whatever reason. That's possible with any Datamined stuff, unless it's obviously something absolutely massive. But with stuff like this, we really don't know. However, it's probably our best bet that we could see fence customization at some point in the future. Now, we all know about the fences that we can't get in the game, like for example, the white picket fence, which I know is something people want a lot. So that could hint that we may actually see customizable fences at some point in the future, and maybe Nintendo just left it out for some reason. I do think this would be a really fantastic feature, and it would help people kind of make their islands look even more unique. Just customizing items further is honestly a great idea. I hate it when items feel really limited and they've only got one version. It just feels super disappointing, so being able to customize all the different fences with different looks would really help bring a new life to people's islands, honestly. There'd be a lot more variety, I feel like, because just changing a fence from one way to another would totally make different islands feel even more unique. So I really would love to see that, and I hope we do see this at some point in the future. It's certainly interesting that this stuff seems to have surfaced more recently, because that could hint that it might be coming sooner than we think. We have seen that with previous Datamines. For example, the stuff for the Dream Suite happened in the code of the game, and then we basically saw it right after. Of course, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen, but it certainly is food for thought in my opinion. Number 5. So finally on this list, we probably have the most interesting, and one that I feel like is forgotten about a lot because of Brewster's Cafe, which has been datamined to appear in the museum. Well, there's actually something else that has been datamined in the museum by Ninja and others as well, and that's that there could be an upgrade for a museum shop as well. Now, I definitely feel like this one has been completely forgotten about by people, and I believe reference to it have actually disappeared, so maybe it's not a thing anymore, but the same was true for the cafe, and yet those references to it in the game's code actually did return. So it could be interesting to see the museum shop, or some form of it, return to Animal Crossing New Horizons at some point in the future. I would like that a lot. I think it'd be great, and to be honest with you, I actually think this would provide more gameplay than the cafe would, because you could open up your own exhibits in that game and really decorate them out and display whatever you wanted there. Not only that, but it could mean that Celeste finally gets a chance to work a shop full time like she did in Animal Crossing New Leaf. She wouldn't just roam around your island when there's shooting stars. It might also mean we could see silver tools return, which is where you got them in Animal Crossing New Leaf, as well as some other cool museum themed items from this little shop. I personally think this would be a really great upgrade. I'd love to see both of them come at the same time. However, if I were to take a guess, I would say that the cafe is probably much more likely to come to the museum than this museum shop is. Either way, if we got both of them, that would be absolutely incredible. I would love to see that. It would make me feel kind of like I'm playing Animal Crossing New Leaf again, and it would just be absolutely amazing. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you know about any of these additions which were discovered in the game's code? Do you think any of them could actually come to the game at some point in the future, or do you think Nintendo is just going to forget about them and we won't see them at any point? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and you can also subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more Animal Crossing videos.